Feeling run down, exhausted, crashing in the afternoon, can't stop yawning, and your eyelids feel like lead? Yeah, most of us would like our energy levels to be better, but for people with hypothyroid conditions, the fatigue can get so bad that it severely impacts your day-to-day function. So in today's video, we are going to go over the 3 key factors that are contributing to your hypothyroid fatigue that your medication probably won't help you out with. My name is Dr. Bodle, and my clinic specializes in helping women with Hashimoto's and low thyroid to lose weight and improve their energy naturally. And if you're interested in holistic and natural approaches to help support your thyroid, then make sure to subscribe to the channel and also ring the bell. That way you'll be notified when I post a new video every single Thursday. Now, before we jump into the 3 factors, I wanted to preface things a little bit, which is my usual MO. I'm a little bit of a prefacer, if that's a word. I'm not sure. Anywho, if you've been diagnosed with hypothyroidism in the past, one of the problems that I see is if you're experiencing an increase in fatigue, then your doctor always assumes that it is due to changes in thyroid hormone. But as we've discussed in the past, the quantity or the amount of thyroid hormone in the system is only one piece of the puzzle. And I kind of think of it like having enough gas in your car. Yes, you're not going to go anywhere if your tank is on empty, but there's a whole bunch of other factors that are required for the car to go beyond just having enough gas in the gas tank. Our thyroid is no different, and while it is important to have enough thyroid hormone, anytime you have an increase in fatigue, adjusting your medication up or down isn't always going to lead to an improvement in your symptoms. Remember, every cell in the body needs thyroid hormone because every cell has a metabolism and every cell has a job to do. So when we're dealing with these chronic hypothyroid issues, it's not just the thyroid gland that's impacted. It's every cell that's downstream, and that can lead to a number of problems that then feed back and further compromise our issues with our energy. Speaking of downstream effects, let's jump into our first key factor, which is changes in micronutrient status. Micronutrients are all the vitamins and minerals that our body needs for our physiology to work correctly. And it's hard to say whether low thyroid conditions leads to low micronutrient status or the other way around. However, we do know that many of the key factors that are necessary for us to feel our best and have good energy do become compromised when we have thyroid problems, and therefore it might warrant some sort of support. For example, up to 40% of people with hypothyroidism may be deficient in B12. And for people with Hashimoto's hypothyroidism, up to 76% of people can be deficient in vitamin D. Iron is another important part of our thyroid physiology, as the TPO enzyme which makes thyroid hormone is heme or iron dependent. And it's very common for people with thyroid issues to have low iron status because of the fact that comorbidities like autoimmune gastritis and celiac disease so often accompany thyroid conditions. Lastly, magnesium is a cofactor in over 300 enzymatic processes in the body, and low levels of magnesium can be associated with changes in other electrolytes, contribute to hypothyroidism, and has been associated with Hashimoto's thyroiditis and increased antibody levels. Now, even though there's a high correlation between deficiencies in these nutrients and hypothyroidism, I'm not suggesting that everyone should go out and buy a whole bunch of supplements. Nor am I suggesting that these are the only factors that can play a role in our thyroid health. But they are something you should be aware of, and it is something that you should have a discussion with your doctor about. If you've already changed your medication but you're continuing to feel exhausted, then doing some good lab work and at least screening for some of these deficiencies could be a big boost to taking that next step in your health. But remember, just because a value is normal for someone else doesn't mean it's normal for you. And some of the testing that is done in this area, things like serum B12 and serum magnesium, aren't always great markers to tell us the overall status of those nutrients in the body. Therefore, if there's enough symptomatic evidence and your numbers are trending on the low end of the range, it may be worth it to undergo a short trial period with your doctor's guidance to see if you benefit from any of these nutrients. If you feel like your energy improves when you supplement in these areas, well, 1, that's the most important thing, but 2, you can always check follow-up testing to make sure that your levels aren't getting too high. Our second key factor that can contribute to hypothyroid fatigue is stress and stress management. When our thyroid isn't working right, it puts a fair amount of internal or physiological stress on the body, which can make us more sensitive to external or emotional stressors that we come in contact with. When this happens, it is well documented that chronic stress can make us more susceptible to hypoglycemic tendencies. The reason this happens is because stress disrupts the communication between our brain and our adrenal system by making our brain less sensitive to physiological changes in our bloodstream. Now, I don't know if I'm getting too far off into the weeds with this, but I think it's pretty cool stuff. In these situations where we're chronically stressed and having energy crashes throughout the day, our problem is not the ability to produce the hormones that stabilize our blood sugar and improves our energy. Instead, the problem is with our brain and its ability to sense when those changes are occurring and respond accordingly. This means to improve our stress management and also reduce our fatigue, we have to make several modifications that are specific to these kinds of scenarios. Not only do we want to minimize our stress in the first place by avoiding stressful environments or using coping mechanisms like physical and mindfulness exercises, doing breathing, or taking time to decompress, but we also want to be aware of these hypoglycemic tendencies that come along with it. To help avoid these crashes and feel more stable throughout the day, I recommend avoiding processed carbohydrates and sugar, making sure that your meals are not comprised solely of simple sugars like fruit, and increasing your protein intake with every meal. Our third and final key factor is sleep. And sleep can be a tricky one because it's kind of like losing weight. Sure, you can tell someone to lose weight and they would probably agree with you that it's a good idea. But if they don't have the tools to do it, it doesn't help someone to say, just go out and lose weight. Same sort of thing for sleep. If someone's having problems with their sleep, it's not very helpful to tell them to sleep more if they can't efficiently get to sleep and stay asleep throughout the night. However, I often talk to people who are struggling with their energy and they're not sure why. But when we look at their sleep, everything is all out of whack. And so even though some of us might not be able to improve our sleep, that doesn't mean that we can just forget about it and it's not a factor in the rest of our health. If you're someone who struggles to stay asleep at night and you find yourself tossing and turning and waking up abruptly at 2 or 3 a.m., then you're going to want to work on your fuel levels throughout the day to help support a more normal sleep cycle. Strategies here include not skipping breakfast and eating something like bacon and eggs rather than coffee and a bagel. Also, you'll want to get at least 100 grams of protein throughout the day, and it may help you to have a little bit of protein or a little bit of fat right before you go to sleep. If you're having trouble falling asleep, you'll want to make sure that there's at least 3 to 4 hours between your dinner time and your bedtime. You want to avoid electronic devices for 2 hours before going to sleep, and it may help you to do things like use blue light blocker glasses at night, keep your bedroom cool, and avoid any excess light exposure as you're trying to fall asleep. And if you want to learn more about the details on these strategies, you can watch my video titled How to Get a Good Sleep with Hashimoto's, which I'll link for you in the cards above. But there you have it, you guys. Those are the 3 key factors to support your hypothyroid fatigue that your medication probably won't help with. Hopefully you learned something new today and you can take that home and implement it and start feeling better. If you're interested in getting additional help for your thyroid symptoms and want to work with me, you can send me an email at contact@seattlethyroidhelp.com, which I'll also have listed for you in the description box below, and we can get you set up with a free one-on-one consultation to see if we would be a good fit to work together. Otherwise, make sure to grab my free download, which is also linked below. It's electrolytes for Hashimoto's and keto, and we touched today on how magnesium levels can influence thyroid function. If you've already switched to a low carbohydrate or ketogenic way of eating and you're continuing to struggle with your energy, then supporting your electrolytes may help you to fix that problem. As always, thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you guys are having an absolutely excellent week. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, share it, and if you have any questions, leave me a comment below or send me an email and I'll be happy to get back to it. My name is Dr. Brad Bodle, and I'll see you guys next week.